Bay just said in a recent post created yesterday that that Judge Empress Light Taraji Bay said that we who have offspring or children can simply use one document instead of doing several or separate documents for each child. For the Social Security number lien, also known as a social insurance number in Canaanite land, Canada, also known as a tax registration number here in Jamaica territory. Now, also Morocco, Maghreb, the North Gate, Canaanite land. Also, Judge Sharon Tracy Gale Bay just mentioned in the said video that in order to use the consular courts, the consular 3 courts, we have to claim our trust, right? So we did the trust. All of you who had asked for it, you can go on the Moorish American Consulate to get a template of a trust there. Mailing address. You put all your properties, all your liens, and your trust documents. You must create your trust and put your properties in it using the longitude and latitude with the fake addresses that they've given all of us. And here's where you send it to. Mayor Muriel Browser, Muriel Bowser, John A. Wilson Building, 1350 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest Washington, D.C., 2004. That's Mayor Muriel Browser. Her email is E as in Edward, O as in Orange, M as in Mary, at D as in Dog, C as in Cat, looks like .gov .gov.cc. So it's eom@dc.gov, and I think there's a dot there, cc. Office of Tax and Revenue, 1101, 4th Street, Southwest, number 270, Washington.
To entrap, to get the kid's girlfriend. In the case of Somali kid Muhammad, the FBI operates. The one case I was working with were bombs in West Virginia, the West Virginia militia in Ohio. And this guy, Deep Uranium, I called him because he was giving me leads about uranium and missing uranium. He had been a bomb, or he had encouraged people who were unhappy to go make bombs in West Virginia, the West Virginia militia. And they had even given the plans to the FBI, headquarters in West Virginia, in Clarksville, I believe. I can't remember exactly where it is. But they had gotten a guy put in jail this way. And this is how the FBI operates. The one case I was working with where there was supposedly the bombing of the Christmas tree bombing in Portland, these were all Annie McCabe cases. I've been saying this for 4 years. And they'll spend any amount of money.
It's entrapment, right?
Spend any amount of money to entrap, to get the kid's girlfriend. In the case of Somali kid Muhammad, they got him a girlfriend, beautiful girlfriend. That's the Christmas tale. The obvious big story today, though, is the Nashville thing.
Nashville bomb explosion went off this morning around 6:30 a.m. Around 1:20, 1:30 a.m., the RV was spotted, and no full story yet. But FBI's on the case, so we will never actually know what happened. Right, George?
Well, it reminded me so much of the guy who was telling me, hey, something's going to happen in South Carolina. When I'm trying to go find the missing uranium, the FBI seems to never have been able to find, in Ohio. And this guy, Deep Uranium, I called him because he was giving me leads about uranium and missing uranium. He had been a bomb, or he had encouraged people who were unhappy to go make bombs in West Virginia, the West Virginia militia. And they had even given the plans to the FBI, headquarters in West Virginia, in Clarksville, I believe. I can't remember exactly where it is. but they had gotten a guy put in jail this way. And this is how the FBI operates. The one case I was working with where there was supposedly the bombing of the Christmas tree bombing in Portland, these were all Annie McCabe cases. I've been saying this for 4 years. And they'll spend any amount of money.
It's entrapment, right?
Spend any amount of money to entrap. To get the kid's girlfriend. In the case of Somali kid Muhammad, they got him a girlfriend, a beautiful girlfriend, that had said all these lies about how her family was all murdered and so forth by Americans. And then his roommate, and this went on for years. This is going after a 17-year-old kid. But anyway, Jason on Crowdsource had this guy on who had actually been entrapped by deep uranium. So both sides of the story were told, and the first face, we were just writing about Andy McCabe this morning, or at least I was writing about him as an update. The first face that appears Christmas morning from Virginia, Andy McCabe.
On CNN, right?
Andy McCabe. And I was just writing about how he got his start with the false flag with McVeigh in '96 and getting all the contaminating the crime lab. And
that was McCabe's start.
That was his start. Wow. Yeah, that was his start. And then he got into, we had gone to '96. We were just in Atlanta talking about that false flag for the '92 Olympics. That was a little bit before McCabe got started, I believe. But then there was a false flag in Seattle in 2000.
It reminds me of Lee Harvey Oswald as well. You mentioned the demolition training. I was helping George with McDuff, and
Right.
we're writing about Oswald, obviously, and his demolition manual that he gave to the anti-Castro Cuban exiles on how to make bombs, which actually goes in the face of the communist kind of stereotype that Angleton wanted everyone to see Oswald as. So
Right.
another tie-in there. But I thought it was interesting is they had this countdown where they notified people about the explosion. So whoever was responsible for it wasn't looking to garner casualties necessarily, but it was right next to an AT&T data center. So I also read that knocked out 911 or 911 calls for like 100 miles or so in the radius. So is this in combination with another operation that would warrant or not warrant a 911 call? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to think about it as a false flag because no fingers have been pointed yet officially that I've seen. I mean, you got Twitter, saying it's Trump or whatever, Antifa, but no official finger pointing yet, which I find is pretty interesting.
Usually what I find is it's usually someone with a grievance, but they've been coached along. They've been coached along this process. They've been given all kinds of resources and money, 10 or 12 informants developing them along to hopefully someday they'll press the button. And that's usually what I see in most of these cases. The Richard Jewell case was the big exception, where we were in Atlanta because he was saying, "Hey, we got to stop this," and
he was actually a good guy.
He was a good guy, and he foiled the thing, and now that blew up.
Foiled the deep state,
and then they made him
ruined his life.
They ruined his life. It sort of reminded me of me. I'm finding the missing uranium in Ohio. We're supposed to get these 20,000 missiles and all the HEU. But here we go.
And we talked about that